Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Valediction and session 8 of the 8-day online national conclave on dialogues in English studies, contemporary approaches to pedagogy, research, and practices. I'm delighted to begin the session and look forward to the final day of meaningful conversations, critical reflections, and engaged learning. It's my privilege to welcome our presiding speaker for today's session, Dr. Manopriya O, Assistant Professor and Head, Department of English, VET Institute of Arts and Science, Erode. Dr. Manopriya's academic leadership and commitment to teaching reflects a deep engagement with the discipline of English studies. As the head of the department, she plays an important role in shaping academic direction, fostering scholarly inquiry, and supporting both faculty and students in their pursuit of excellence. Her presence as a presiding speaker lends valuable academic perspective to today's proceedings. I'm honored to have you with us, ma'am, and I thank you for graciously agreeing to preside over this session. I request you now to share a few words on today's session and the valediction.
Thank you. Thank you, Kavya, for your wonderful and sweet introduction about me. Am I audible, Kavya?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So, as we arrive today for the validatory session of this eight-day national conclave on dialogue in Indian studies, contemporary approaches to pedagogy, research, and practice, actually, it gives me immense pleasure to reflect on the enriching academic journey we have collectively undertaken for the past 7 days. This conclave has truly embodied the spirit of dialogue rooted in the Indian knowledge tradition, connecting not only the teacher and learner, theory and practice, but also tradition with contemporary thought. The insightful deliberations and diverse perspectives shared by each and every day by different scholars or educators, keynote persons, actually have significantly encouraged the understanding of Indian studies and how the pedagogy plays its role and how the research and how it must be get into practice. Everything is wonderful. So actually first I have to place a heartfelt appreciation to Dr. Kavya, Create Head Hub, what to say now, visionary academic platform it is at Hub, and extend special congratulations to founder and CEO Dr. Kavya, whose leadership and commitment in fostering scholarly engagement like this. And my wishes and best of luck, Kavya, for this wonderful march. Keep rocking and going. And next, I want to welcome Theranika ma'am today. We look forward for her insightful address on contemporary approaches to pedagogy. So, I also very happy to join this valediction session. So, a nutshell, I want to talk about this session just a minute. So, this 8-day structure of this conclave enabled sustained engagement, reflection, and collaboration, fostering academic exchange. People not only from, I think some industrialists may join and might have joined in this. So it's a wonderful academic exchange. I think in future it may leads to potential future partnership. So I'm confident that the ideas generated here will translate into innovative teaching practices, impactful research, and continued scholarly dialogue beyond this forum. So each and every time I have to thank Kavya for this wonderful topic for which she has selected. This is a need of the hour too. So I extend my sincere thank to the organizing team of Kavya and also for all the participants for the dedication, active involvement, and the enthusiasm which ensured the very smooth conduct and academic vibrancy of this conclave. So, all the best, Kavya. I am expecting the forthcoming days not only to concise with the 8 days, it must go like a series, so that the people will be getting too many knowledge in different genres. So all the best, Kavya, and also I'm expecting a few beautiful and wonderful ideas from Teranika ma'am today also. So all the best, ma'am, and all the best for the team also. Thank you, Kavya.
Thank you so much, ma'am. And you've set a beautiful and amazing tone for the evening. It's my pleasure to always be associated with you. And now I am taking so much of pride in welcoming today's resource person, Ms. Ternika R. Ms. Ternika R is a trained psychologist with a strong academic background in applied psychology, human resource management, and you would add computer science engineering to that as well. She brings a multidisciplinary perspective to her work, combining psychological insight with organizational and educational understanding. With experience as a student counselor, pregnancy counselor, and practicing psychologist, she has worked extensively with students, young adults, and mothers addressing concerns related to mental health, performance, and well being. A professional practice spans both online and offline counseling, institutional workshops, and motivational sessions. She is internationally certified in student parent counseling and perinatal mental health counseling. And her work reflects a compassionate, evidence based approach to psychological well being. In today's session, titled Multitasking, Productivity Booster or Performance Drainer, Ms. Ternika will guide us through an exploration of what multitasking truly entails, how the brain responds to multiple demands, and the distinction between multitasking and monotasking. The session will also examine the hidden costs of perceived efficiency, the context in which multitasking may enhance productivity, and the situations where it can undermine performance. And she will also give us practical strategies to improve our focus. I am looking forward to gain so much of knowledge and tips from Tenika ma'am today. And with that, I welcome you to please take over today's session.
Yeah. Good evening to one and all participants present here. Thank you, Dr. Kavya, for such a wonderful introduction. And also thank you, ma'am, for such a beautiful introduction. Thank you once again. So we'll begin with the session. Today, we are going to see one of the most widely used topic yet misunderstood by many. Okay, so we are going to see about multitasking as productivity booster or multitasking as performance drainer. Yes. Okay. Okay. So, as life is getting demanding for most of us, we have a lot of hectic work to do. Okay. So, often we tend to multitask. Actually, what does this term multitasking mean? Okay. When you come down to what is the meaning of multitasking, multitasking is nothing but doing two or more tasks simultaneously. This term was coined in the 60s in order to describe the performance of a computer. So in computer applications, we can run two or more applications. So we can check if it's efficient, if it is effectively performing. Later, we started using this term on human being. Once it was used on computers, the meaning was basically concurrent execution. But later, when we started using it on a human context, it meant basically what is multitasking on human context, what it does to our brain is basically it is switching between two tasks or toggling or just juggling between two tasks. Okay, it creates a start and a stop pattern. It's not that we cannot do two tasks simultaneously. So you do one task, jump to the next, then you come back to the previous task, then you go to the next task. So it's basically just juggling between two tasks. So what does it do to us? It just depletes our mental energy. Okay, so our brain needs a lot of energy to function various activities in our life. So as we do multitasking often, it depletes our energy. Next, coming to few examples of multitasking. I'm sure most of us would have multitasked recently itself. So to start off with one example, I would say, while reading something or while you're studying something, most of us tend to play music and listen to music and as well as study. So that is also an example of multitasking. Can some of you come up with few examples of multitasking that you recently did? When did you recently multitask? While driving, talking to someone over the phone, or while cooking, texting someone, something like that. Can you just come up with some examples?
Participants are more than welcome to unmute themselves and answer. It's not necessary, you'll have to type.
Yes, you can unmute and you can just give me a few examples, or you can just type it out in the chat box as well. Some examples of multitasking when you recently multitasked.
Can I go ahead?
Yes, sure. Yes, Kavya.
Um, I had to drive and pick up a call. That was multitasking for me today.
Okay, so while driving, you were on call.
Yeah,
Okay,
it
that's
was a
some.
risky multitasking.
I know it is very risky. Yes, we'll see what is the risk behind multitasking. Okay, so that was one good example of
Uh,
multitasking. We do so
Ma'am, we
many.
have chat responses coming. Would you like me to read them?
Yes, please. Yes.
Sri Ranjani says that while listening to music, she works on Canva. And
Okay.
Dr. Malati says that while answering calls and responding to messages at the same time is her multitasking.
Great. Yeah, these are the like most oftenly areas where we multitask. Okay. When you're doing a particular work, you're on call or you're on call and you're texting someone, you're driving. That is the typical example most of us do. While driving a car or a vehicle, you tend to talk to someone over the phone. Okay. These are the few examples of multitasking. These we do on day-to-day basis, even while doing yoga, exercise, we listen to music and we do yoga or exercise. Okay, so next is okay, coming to multitasking on a human context, what does it do to our brain? Basically, when you multitask, psychologists say that it is like our human attention is something like a spotlight. Okay, when you give a spotlight on something, you can see the whole picture, a zoomed out version, or you can zoom in and see a particular detail. Okay, our human attention is something like a spotlight that you should keep it in your mind. Okay, so each time you read something, you can just have a look on the whole thing, or you can concentrate, zoom into a particular line, and start understanding and reading. This is how our human attention works. So we'll just see a small video. What you have to do is, I'm going to play a small video. Just see how many balls jump inside the circle. They pitch inside the circle and go. Next is if you can spot a dinosaur, cat, or a lion in the video. Also, if you're able to spot a smiley or a sad face. Okay, three questions. How many balls jump inside the circle? Second question, if you can spot a dinosaur, dog, or a lion. Third question, if you can spot a smiley or sad face. Okay, we'll just see a video, a small video.
And pay particular attention to how many balls bounce in the circle. How many can you count?
Yes. How many can you count? When you see this video, you can just type it out in the chat box or you can unmute as well and say. Yes. How many balls could you spot jumping inside the circle?
We have answers telling that there is 1, 7, and 3.
Okay, 1, 7, and 3. And could you spot a dinosaur, lion, or cat, someone? No. You're not able to spot a dinosaur, cat, or lion. Could you spot a smiley face or a sad face inside this video?
We've got one answer that there is one ball that keeps bouncing again and again.
Okay.
And there's another answer that there are 3.
Okay. Okay. So this video, what I wanted to share with you is our attention, when it is focused on one particular thing, you can easily tell the answer. If I should have just asked you how many balls bounce inside the circle, the correct answer would be 7. Or if I would have asked how many, can you spot a dinosaur, lion, or a cat, you'll be able to come up with the correct answer. Or if I should have just questioned you if you can find a smiley or sad face inside the ball jumping, then you would have found the answer. But when you pay attention to too many things at the same time, it is very confusing for us. Okay, it leads to cognitive load. So that is what we're going to see now. What happens to the brain, inside our brain, when we multitask? First is cognitive load. Okay. So each time you perform a particular task, a specific neural network is activated. For example, when you're studying something, your working memory of learning that and retrieving that information, that neural network is on. Okay. When you're listening parallelly to the music and studying, when you're listening to the music, basically, your ears are being used, your sensory organ of your ears is being used. A specific neural network for that particular thing will be activated. Okay. So you're basically enjoying the lyrics of the song, and you're enjoying the song basically. But then, if you do this constantly, if you do multitasking, you're listening to the music as well as you're studying, you're listening to the music as well as you're studying. If you keep multitasking over the time, it depletes your brain energy. Okay. Like how, if you want a car to run smoothly, you need good fuel, right? You need to put nice petrol or diesel for a car to run smoothly. Similarly, for your brain to function properly, if you do one task at a time, it is very effective. Okay, when you start doing multitasking, the energy depletion is too much. So that is about cognitive load. Next is attention residue. So we'll just go back to the same example of while studying, you're listening to the music. Okay, so first you're listening to the music, you're listening to your favorite song, you know the lyrics, and it's just on your mind, constantly repeating the lyrics, and you're happily singing. Okay, coming back to studying. Okay, you're coming back to what you want to learn. So you, when you're studying, a part of that attention, okay, a part of the song will be carried forward to what work you're doing now, to the task that you're currently performing. Okay, so mostly what do we do when we are studying? That lyrics comes to your mind, you start humming the song and you study. Okay, which leads to confusion or error most of the time. So when you switch tasks, your attention doesn't follow immediately. It takes a minute or 5 minutes to refocus into the new task. Okay, a residue of the task that you did previously is carried forward to the new task. Okay, so just listening to the song and studying looks simple. But when you're driving, maybe you're talking to someone over the phone. It is an important call. You're talking to someone over the phone, and your concentration is fully on the call. Okay, sometimes you might just listen to like a very basic thing which leads to life-threatening situation. It might even lead to accidents. So this attention residue is also a problem while multitasking. Last is decision fatigue. So, what is this decision fatigue? When you constantly multitask throughout the day, I have so much of work, I have to multitask, I have to get it done. Okay, when you constantly do this, it depletes your decision making power. So, this is what it happens inside the brain. Basically, outward multitasking is like I'm doing this, I'm doing this, I'm doing this task, I'm doing another task, I'm doing a next task. But deep inside the brain, it leads to cognitive load, it leads to attention residue and decision fatigue. Another experiment. Okay, so we are going to see what is multitasking versus monotasking. We saw what is multitasking. Basically, doing two or more tasks simultaneously is what is called as multitasking. Monotasking is nothing but doing one task at a time. For example, you're driving, finish your driving. You want to attend a call, stop the car or stop your vehicle, attend the call, finish the call, and start driving. That is what is called monotasking. Okay, we are going to see, I'm going to give you a small activity. If you have a piece of paper and pen, you could do it on a piece of paper and pen. If you don't have a piece of paper, you can just do it in your mind. Okay. What you have to do is take a piece of paper, divide it into three columns. Okay. The first column would be numbers, second column would be number name, and third column would be alphabet. Okay. So when I say start, you're going to start writing it in the row wise. First, you'll be writing 1. The number name of 1 is ONE1, and then the alphabet A. Then go to 2. The number name of 2 will be TWO2, and then go to B. Again, come back to 3, spell the number 3, and go to C. Next, move to 4, spell 4, and write the alphabet next, D. Okay. We're just going to do it for 1 to 10. That's it. Okay, when I say start, do this task. If you have a paper, you can write it down and do it. If you don't have a paper, just visually imagine it and do it in the row wise. Okay, we'll start. Okay, also, and one more point. When you're doing this task, when I say start, just note the point once you complete, how much time it takes to complete this task. Okay, just roughly, maybe a minute, or I took 2 minutes to complete this task. Okay, just note it down, and you can type it out in the chat box. Start. Yeah, if you're done, yes, I'm done. You can just type it in the chat box, your answer. I took 1 minute to finish it. I took 2 minutes to complete it, or took just 3 minutes to finish it. Mentally, also, if you're done, you can just say how many minutes you took to finish this task. Okay. Around a minute. Done with 1 minute. Okay, great. Okay, so we'll do the same activity in a different way. Same activity, divide your sheet into 3 columns, same number, number name, and alphabet. This time you're not going to do it row wise, okay? You're not going to answer the things row wise. You're going to answer it in the column wise. 1 minute, 5 seconds. Great. If you want more time, you can take. So the second time, how we are going to do is you're going to answer it in the column manner. Write number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Go to number name 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Write it in the number ways and alphabet A to J. Yeah? We'll see when I say start the task. Mentally also you can do it, and roughly just let me know how long does it take. Approximately, okay? I took just maybe 45 seconds to complete this task like that. You can just type it out in the chat box. Start. Okay, so Kavya's done with just 40 seconds. Great. Others? Done. Okay. 50 seconds. Great. Okay. 45 seconds. Okay. So which is faster, 1 or 2? The first time when you did it was faster, or the second time? 2. Yes, 2. Okay, why 2 is faster is because you're monotasking. So you're doing it one by one. So your brain works much faster when you monotask. Okay, your productivity is better. The time you spend on the particular task is much better and faster. Okay, so the first time when you did it, basically you were multitasking, you were juggling from one to next and from next to the other. You were switching from number to number name to alphabet. Again, you were switching from number, name, alphabet. But the second time when you did the same activity, you completed the number, then you moved on to number name, then you moved on to the alphabet. So with this activity, you can easily tell that monotasking is way better than multitasking. Let's see what are the advantages of monotasking. First, time. Okay, the time spent on a particular task when you monotask is much faster compared to multitasking. So when you're multitasking, when you switch from one task to other, you come back and forth, there is a lot of distraction that is happening. Also, your brain energy is depleted. It takes about 1 to 5 minutes to refocus from one task to another. Okay, you're doing one task, moving to the next task. It takes a minute or 5 minutes to refocus into the next task. Next, error. Okay. When you're performing a task, especially for surgeons, when they're doing a surgery, even if they have like just a 3 second distraction, if they are on some media or some kind of distraction for 3 seconds, it leads to a lot of error during the surgery. So that is proven as per research. So basically, when you multitask, when you do too many tasks at a time, there is a lot of chances that there might be a error occurring. Even with cooking, okay? Often you should have seen your mother or wife or your someone who's friend who's cooking. When they're cooking, if someone interrupts while cooking, sometimes they might add a little more salt, or they might add a little more of spices. So basically, when you're performing a task, you have to put your full focus and attention onto that task so that it reduces the error rate. Coming to energy. So when you're multitasking, a lot of brain energy is depleted, which leads to brain fog and fatigue. It leads to confusion, poor decision making. Okay, you'll feel very exhausted with little short span of time. You should have just performed that one task in 1 hour. When you're multitasking, it might take about 3 to 4 hours to finish that same task. Okay, so energy drain is much more. Brain fuel is lost during multitasking. Strain on working memory. Okay, so when you're multitasking, you can just easily try this. Okay, when you're multitasking and you want to remember something, okay, you're doing 2 or more work at a time, you want to remember just a small phone number or a name, it'll be easily you'll forget it. Okay, so the working memory is trained a lot during multitasking. So focusing your attention on only one task at a time is the secret of performing the task correctly. So that is the difference between multitasking and monotasking. Already we saw productivity loss is about 40% while multitasking. As per research, it says that the time taken to switch between two tasks and the productivity is about 40%. There is productivity loss while multitasking. Also, time taken to complete. Single task you might just take 5 hours to complete, whereas when you're multitasking, it might even take up to 9 hours to complete. So it is always better to sit, finish the task, and then move to the next task. Looking at multitasking as a productivity booster, most of us think it looks like all that, when you look superficially, multitasking is you think that it's such a time saver. I'm able to do 3 tasks at a time. It's very nice, it's very fast. I can perform this task. But in reality, scientifically proven, monotasking is way better and it is way more effective, and it is a very less stressful approach for achieving your goal. Okay, so multitasking leads to a lot of stress overrun. Not just once in a while I'm multitasking, it's okay. But on a long run, if you multitask often on day-to-day basis, it leads to a lot of stress on your body as well as psychologically. Next, coming to bottleneck theory. There is a theory called bottleneck theory. If you have a narrow neck in a bottle, you can pass only one marble at a time. You cannot put 4 or 5 marbles at a time so that it reaches the down base of the bottle. You can only pass one marble at a time. Similarly, your brain has limited capacity for processing multiple tasks. So it is always better when you put one task at a time, complete it, and then move on to the next task. Rapidly switching attention between two tasks create a lot of mental blocks. Suddenly, you don't even know what you're doing. Okay, you're cooking something, you're talking to someone, you're coming back to cooking something, talking to someone over the phone, coming back to cooking. You won't even know what I added something, I'm missing something inside that cooking. Okay, similarly, you're reading something or you're sending a mail to someone, you're talking to someone over the phone, you might miss a lot of important details while talking over the phone or while sending the email. So it creates a mental block. Multitasking as performance trainer, we saw a lot of disadvantages of multitasking. Already I told you it leads to increased stress. Okay, chronic multitasking on day-to-day basis, doing it on everyday basis, it increases production of cortisol. You know, cortisol is a hormone. It is a stress hormone that is produced inside your body, which leads to a lot of hormonal imbalances. It leads to low mental energy. So you're not able to have the same energy to perform other tasks. Okay, that increases stress. Multitasking increases stress. There is a lot of higher error rates while multitasking. When your attention is divided into multiple things, you're not able to, really focus on what you want to do. So you miss that, and there might be a lot of error occurring. On day-to-day basis, this might look very simple, but if you notice keenly on when and all you're multitasking, yes, I'm recollecting the times when I multitask, you will know, okay, this error occurred during that time. Okay, there is high error rates. And last, low functional IQ. So your efficiency of the task is reduced drastically while multitasking. Now let's see what are the strategies to focus. How do we focus? How do we pay attention to one task at a time? How do we monotask in today's era? Okay, as we have a lot of work to do, without multitasking, it is very difficult, some might say. But let's see how we can focus on one task at a time. Few strategies for focus. First is time blocking. Okay, set a specific amount of time to finish one task and then move on to the next task. For example, I'm reading this. Let me read this for 20 to 30 minutes. Then I might take a small break and then go to the next work. Okay, like that, do time blocking. Yes, I want to do this journal for 10 minutes. I'll finish this and go to the next work. Okay, so that is called as time blocking. Next is work interval. You're working on a very intensive project. You're very interested. You're working intensively towards that project. Give yourself that particular time. Work for 25 minutes. Take a 5-minute break. What that 5-minute break could be, immediately take a mobile phone, start scrolling what is happening, what my friend is doing. That is not a break, basically. That is called doom scrolling. So you're putting a lot of stress into your brain again instead of taking a break. So what is a real break is you could just take a book, write few things down, or take a book to read, or just get up, have a glass of water, walk around, or just, talk to someone who's next to you. All that is a good 5-minute break. Okay, that is a good 5-minute break to reset. Then you can go back to the same work and you can start working to it. Third is batch processing. Batch processing is a very, very useful technique. Even personally for me, it is very useful. You can group similar tasks together and then you can perform. For example, calls. Yes, I have I have about 30 minutes of free time. Let me make all the calls together, be it family calls, office calls, work calls, other electricity bill or anything, okay? Any calls you can be made, you can use the 30 minutes to make calls. Next, moving on to emails. All the emails you want to send, you can do it. Chats, you want to chat, important chat, you want to send it to your friend, a message you want to share. All the chats, you can do it at a particular time, okay? So that you will have a lot of free time left to do other tasks as well. So batch processing helps a lot in our day-to-day life. Cooking also, okay? So many of us, you spend a lot of time in cooking. Okay, morning I'm cooking, afternoon I'm cooking, dinner I'm cooking without planning. Okay, it looks like throughout the day I'm cooking, but I'm multitasking in between. I'm going and attending calls, I'm doing other works. You can group similar tasks. Cooking, I'll finish it in this time, then I'll move on to my next productive work, like that. Okay, similarly, your office work as well. Block distraction, as I told you, even one as studies found that just a 3-second distraction can cause a lot of error while performing a task. Surgery example I gave you, when a surgeon is performing the surgery, just a 3-second distraction of looking into a phone or talking to someone might even lead to error during the surgery. It happens to a lot of things, not only surgery, it can lead to accidents while driving, talking to someone over the phone. It might cause even small accidents. Also, see, just a fraction of second they'll be driving properly, just a fraction of second one tends to sleep off, again it leads to accident. Okay, so distractions should be kept aside. So whenever you're comfortable, when you're totally in an awake state, you can try driving. Next, list your top priorities. You don't have to do all the tasks at one particular time, okay? List all the priorities. Whichever needs to be done on the first basis, list them. Like 2 to 3 has to be done today. Finish them off and then move to the next task. Okay, I can do it on the next day. The other 3 tasks could be completed tomorrow. It's not necessary that all have to do it today itself. So list your priorities. Whichever has to be dealt with first could be done. Last is managing your stress. Basically, stress was like it gives a fight or flight response. When you're constantly on stress, it leads to a lot of mental energy depletion. Apart from that, it leads to other body and psychological damage as well. It leads to hair fall, it leads to like fatigueness, it leads to low decision making. So stress is the culprit for many diseases that is coming to us, right from thyroid to diabetic to beat pressure, all that. If you see the underlying reason, what is behind it is stress. Okay, so stress is not good for your body, and it is definitely not good for your memory storage as well. When you're constantly on stress, you're not able to store or retrieve information easily. So it's always to reduce stress. How can we reduce stress? Do monotasking. So monotasking definitely helps to reduce stress. Anything you can reduce, anything you can do to reduce stress is a good thing. For example, you can do a small yoga morning, a breathing exercise, physical exercise, all that would be great way to manage stress. Next is digital hygiene. This digital smartphone is the ultimate multitasking engine, basically. Okay, so you can run, like you can open 5, 6 apps simultaneously, switch from one app to the next, one app to the next. For example, I'm scrolling Instagram now. I might go to YouTube next. I might go to mails next. Next, I can go to even Facebook. So this is like one total multitasking engine which you have to be very cautious about using. Okay, so it is always necessary, like if you're going for a wedding, you're very specific about what kind of dress I want to wear. For your mental hygiene, for your mental well-being, you should always use your digital device in a very wise manner. How do we use it? Whatever is the most necessary notification, what is very needed, for example, phone calls, messages, apart from that, any emails, okay, all these notification could be turned on. Other notifications, such as like your shopping app notification, your apart from that YouTube notification, all that could be turned off, which is not necessary. So when you really have that free time to go and do the scrolling, you can do it. Okay, so each time you're notified on new video that is coming up or a new post that your friend has posted, it doesn't need your attention so much. You can use about like 20 to 30 minutes. Again, as I told you, do like batch processing. You can use some time. Yes, I'm on social media. I want to see for some time. I want to scroll and see what is happening. You can set aside 10 to 15 minutes for that, and you can do that during that time. So every time you're doing a work, you don't have to go back to the device and see what is happening. So how we have to keep our oral and physical well-being properly. Digital hygiene is very much needed for this hour. So whatever notification, whatever is very needed, you can turn it on. Other notifications, kindly turn it off. Apart from that, while sleeping, turn off your phone, put it on aeroplane mode, or turn off your phone if it is not necessary. Keep it away. Before sleeping, don't use your mobile for 1 hour, especially on bed. Also, don't use your mobile phone as soon as you wake up. As soon as you wake up, don't use it for 1 hour. 1 hour before sleep, 1 hour after you wake up. So always follow this rule. It is very good for your mental health. Okay, this digital hygiene. Coming to power of one, it is always effective and good when you perform one task at a time. Okay, monotasking is just not about productivity, it's just not about results. If I do this task, if I monotask, I can get better result. It is more than being just about productivity, it is more about being mindful of what you're doing. Okay, being very mindful. By doing one thing at a time, you respect the task you're doing, you respect yourself as well. Okay, you're not depleting yourself. Okay, if you charge a phone, it can run up to 1 day or 2 day. After that, you have to recharge it. Similarly, your brain has to be recharged. How can it be recharged? While sleeping. Okay, and in order to use this battery effectively, how you're using your phone battery effectively, in order to use your brain and the battery behind it, the energy effectively, do one task at a time. Slow down. If you slow down, you can basically speed up your work. So thank you. That's about multitasking. If you have any questions, you can ask me.
Thank you so much, Ms. Ternika, for these amazing sessions. I was actually wondering, even before you said to use the column method, I
Okay.
used it. Maybe
Oh,
you can call it cheating, but then I
I
found it
know.
after going for 4 numbers. I thought maybe this is easier if I do it vertically.
I know. That is like one typical experiment where you can find out that monotasking is way better than multitasking. Like it's like so explicitly for you to understand. Even though if I tell more theoretically, if I tell you this point is good, that is good, you can experience it right under your eyes.
Very true.
Yes, monotasking is way better.
Thank you for all the tips that you've shared with us. And dear
Yes.
participants, if you've got any question for today's speaker, you may unmute yourself and ask, or you can please post it on the chat box. I think they'll take a minute to type it and then send.
Okay. I think this is very practical, no? We on day-to-day basis, without even our knowledge, we tend to multitask. It's become more of a habit now.
Very
Even
true.
without our proper knowledge, okay, I'm multitasking, and without that proper understanding itself, they start to multitask often. Simple tasks, they start multitasking. While
I can understand that on a perspective that you'll have to efficiently work rather than just putting too much onto
I
yourself
know,
that
yeah,
you
you're
do
just
something.
putting too much pressure on yourself while multitasking. Uh,
But then there is this there's this trend on social media where there's peer pressure for you to hustle all the time.
Definitely,
It's like you're
yes.
missing out on things if you don't hustle. What is your comment on that?
No, what is the hustle actually creating? It's just creating a lot of mental disturbance, basically. After listening to all the hustle, are you feeling better? Are you feeling depleted? Are you feeling energetic? Just ask yourself that one simple question and you'll know the answer.
Very true.
Okay? We don't even have to, ask someone. Just ask yourself after watching all that, how do you feel basically? Energetic, happy? No, I'm just feeling, a little, very tired after watching all this. I don't feel like I don't have the same energy to go back to that previous work. Yes. So that is the answer right away, Kavya. So the social media, that's what I told you. You can't stay away from it. You can use a specific time to use the social media, especially not before the bedtime or as soon as you wake up. Somewhere mid afternoon, you can use it for around like 10-15 minutes. Once you're satisfied, happy doom scrolling, you can stop it and go back to your work.
That's true. Given the current economic situation that we're living in and the uncertainty of job, employment opportunities everywhere, there's a side of people who want to multitask so that they can become financially stable. But you've given us a clear perspective on how, even if you have to be at the crossroads of multitasking, you can do it efficiently so that you don't overload yourself and then drain out others.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. So
Thank you
even
so
if you
much.
want to multitask, it is unavoidable. You can do it in a wise manner. Okay. You can just finish off one task, then move to the next one. That is way better, actually.
That's a
Good
very
evening,
wise.
ma'am.
Yes. Good evening.
This is Kamal Pavai.
Okay.
I don't have any questions for you, but then you explained it very well that multitasking is not a way to approach anything. Like we think that it will be easy for us, but then
Okay.
you pointed out that doing it alone, like single task one by one, it's very good. The way you approached and the way you explained us was very helpful. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you very much. Thank you. I know everyone should understand, basically when I was seeing students in college, one of the point they would, be so happy about telling us, I can multitask, ma'am. I can do two or more tasks simultaneously now. I'll finish off all these tasks at this given time. But they don't even know what is multitasking basically. Why was this term invented? For what context was this term invented? It was used on computers so that the execution of the application would be perfect. Okay, so you can run two or more applications together. A typical example is your mobile phone. So on background, you can do work as well as you can play a song as well as type a message. All that is great on a device. But coming to your body, your brain, it's not good. It's definitely
Of
not good.
this, I just recollected a reel on Instagram I was watching yesterday. So
Okay.
a manager is asking an intern who is like a prospective full-time employee there if you
Okay.
can work under pressure. But
Okay.
the very cool and sassy intern says, "You're not a good manager if you want me to work under pressure."
Oh,
And he
okay.
just walks off. I think this sheds more light on how you can see multitasking as well.
Definitely, yes.
Yes, ma'am. It was a nice session. But at the same time, you see, these days, social media is so heavy on us. I see people walking on the road using their mobile, texting, doing this. This people have known it as multitasking, and we have movies like Three Idiots where Virus is writing with both hands, showing the ambidextrity. So people want to equip themselves with they want to write with both hands. They want to do multitasking, and I think women are specifically meant for multitasking. In the morning, they are cooking in the kitchen, they are managing all the affairs of the family. But males, when I talk about myself, I'm a big failure when it comes to multitasking. And
Okay.
I think I have read this beautiful quote somewhere which says, Ek sadhe, sab sadhe, sab
Okay.
sadhe, sab jaye. तो
Okay.
एक की साधना जब हम करेंगे तो हमें सब कुछ मिल जाता है, पर अगर हम सब चीजों के पीछे भागेंगे तो एक भी हाथ में नहीं आता है. And we are talking about this when we are working on the screen, like mobile. We can open up so many screens, or we are working on some desktop, minimize. There were so many files opened up, but we
Exactly.
end
Yeah.
up messing
All
it
those
up.
are typical examples of multitasking.
Yes,
Very
yes.
true. Okay.
But I have realized the thing is, if we have this multi work at hand, we tend to be more into the habit of procrastination,
Yes.
because our brain is not attuned to do so many tasks at one time.
Exactly. Your brain
We
is
can take
not
up, yes,
designed in that way. You should
yes.
understand that. Your brain is
It
not
works in a
designed to
very
be.
systematized manner, and when we pick up one work, we do it thoroughly and proper way. And you talked about a planner or two things to do list. I do that when
Okay.
I have 10 tasks at home, at work, so I give priority to one or two things. So I think these are soft skills, but people, as you mentioned, the students saying, I'm a multitasker, but I think we end up messing up everything up. So if we pick up the most important thing, prioritizing the things, then we end up having good results. And good
Definitely.
productivity means, yes, wo ek sade sab sade. So once we do one thing, nothing is perfect, but at least we are nearer to perfection somewhere with
I
the
know.
work.
Yes.
Today's lecture was really good. That exercise, writing in 3 columns. Yes, we tend to know, and I would be working with, I think, with share it with students also, so they understand
Definitely.
that
Yes.
monotasking is far better than multitasking.
I know, sir. Yes. So once you give them this experiment, you don't have to say much, it tells them the answer
Yes,
itself
yes,
is
yes.
told in the experiment. So basically,
But the
just give.
question is, ma'am, which I also find somewhere. We try to do it, but the stress, ma'am, Kavya ma'am also said like this. The fellow said, like, if I am not under stress, I'll perform better. But we are in a situation where there are so many mails to be answered, and at the end of the day, we don't. I personally speaking, I don't want to touch my phone after work, and there is this bill to disconnect also, right?
Okay.
At least you have a free time, you have personal time, what we
Okay.
call me space or your own personal
Yes.
space. So I think we need to give that time to our body, our physique, and more. We need to run with our biological clock, and which
Definitely.
we are not working with.
Definitely. Yes, that's a very good point, sir told. Maybe I could as well as add that point. Yes, you have to go with your biological clock. So when it is sunrise, it's the best time to start off with your work, not start off with your mobile phone, basically. Start off with your work, planning whatever you want to do for the day. You can plan it out and prioritize. And by evening is the time to rest. Give your brain that time to rewire, to recover from the day's work. And then, so when you have a good night's sleep, you have the energy to carry on to the next day. Okay, when you don't do all this, you mess with your whole body. Everything is a big mess. It starts from small issues with some knee pain, thyroid levels rising up, diabetes going up. Later, it leads to big issues. So it's always better you do one task at a time, whichever has to be prioritized, whichever is the most urgent thing to be done today, do it. Okay. Others which could be done tomorrow, you can do it tomorrow. Don't put too much pressure on yourself, which is not necessary. We are living on a very short lifespan. So let's be more productive and monotask.
Very true. I've heard somewhere that you might be seeming like you're irreplaceable at a workspace, but the moment you're gone, there's going to be another line of
Replacement.
replacement.
Exactly. They're not even going to look back if Kavya's there or Kavya's always there. Who's going to do that?
Maybe
Once
they
you're
might
out, the next
remember you,
person is
but
in.
you're always replaceable anywhere.
I know.
Maybe not in the
Exactly.
family, but anywhere outside, you're easily replaceable.
Definitely. Yes.
Never put too much of stress into doing things, and
Yes. Whatever.
always give a gap of deadline. If you can finish it on Monday, say that you can only get it done on Wednesday, so you have a breathing time to not rush up and then do.
Very true. Yes, Kavya.
Thank you so much, Mr. Ibnikov, for all these amazing things that you've shared with us today and for very eagerly interacting with our participants. And if we have no more questions, then I would like to give a formal thank you to you and to all the speakers and presiding speakers of our conclave. I would like to take a moment to reflect on the rich and stimulating academic journey we've shared over these 8 sessions. The discussions, debates, and reflections across the days have reminded us that English studies today is not a static discipline, but one that continuously responds to changing social, technological, pedagogical, and ethical context. It's one of those fields where there is an intersection of everything. And I extend my sincerest gratitude to all our distinguished speakers whose sessions shaped the intellectual core of this conclave. I thank Dr. Jayashree C for setting a thoughtful and humane tone at the outset with disability studies. Dr. Maitri for foregrounding emotional intelligence and inclusive pedagogy in language classrooms. Dr. Sarika for demonstrating how popular culture, say web series, especially in relation to medical narratives, can meaningfully inform ELT practices. Dr. Infanta Vinci for her incisive engagement with policy, practice, and English inequities inside a classroom. Dr. Subramanian for his evocative reflections on literature at a critical crossroads in the 21st century. Dr. Babu Balraj for offering clear, ethical, and practical guidance on high impact publishing and avoiding predatory indexing. Ms. Arpita Ghosh for her compelling reading of Indian horror through the lens of gender, sexuality, and social anxiety. And to you, Ms. Ternika R, for closing the conclave with such insightful exploration into multitasking, focus, and performance in contemporary life. I also extend my sincerest and respectful thanks to all the presiding speakers whose academic guidance, thoughtful observations, and supportive presence added depth and balance to each session of the conclave. To Dr. Jayashree, Narasingaram Jayashree, Dr. Dhanalakshmi, Dr. Sumati, Dr. Logesh Kumar, Dr. Nalasami, Dr. Madangi, and Dr. Manopriya. I thank you for graciously presiding over the sessions and enriching the proceedings with their scholarly perspectives and encouragement. I'm also deeply grateful to all the speakers for their time, scholarship, and generosity in engaging with participants' questions and reflection. And to you, my dear participants, members of faculty, research scholars, and UG/PG students, thank you for your active presence, thoughtful questions, and sustained engagement throughout the conclave. Your participation is what truly enriched the discussions. A few more information to pass on to you. Please note that the e-certificates will be issued within 7 to 10 working days and will be shared with you via email and WhatsApp. We also encourage you to share your feedback on the conclave in the WhatsApp group, which is now open for you to respond as well. Please share your responses as these will help us reflect, improve, and plan future academic initiatives. And at Create, you would also be happy to stay connected with your institutions. You may reach out to us through our WhatsApp number or our email ID for opportunities to host language classes or classes regarding or courses regarding English for placement training, literature oriented courses, and even guest lectures tailored to your academic needs. In the few months that we've been operative online and the 3 years offline, we've conducted so many courses and delivered more than 15 sessions and signed significant MOUs with institutions in Tamil Nadu. The link now we'll be sharing with you for you to post your feedback. And with this, we will come to a formal ending of this conclave. Thank you, everybody, and thank you, Ms. Ternika, for patiently sitting and listening to me. Thank everyone, and also to our dear participants. I'm really happy that this event has gone on very successful, and I'm looking forward to engage with each and every one of you in the future. Until then, this is me, Dr. Kavya, signing off, and also Mr. Ternika from that end. Thank you for the amazing reviews that you're giving me on the chat box. I would really love if you could take some time and share it with us in the WhatsApp group, because this chat will go off as soon as I end the meeting. You're most welcome to share all your feedback in the group. And if you have any suggestions for the future sessions, you can please share that also in the WhatsApp group. We will take everything into consideration. I'll be staying on the session for a little more while. So if you have any questions to ask or any queries to get clarified, please post them to me now. Or you're also welcome to send a message on WhatsApp anytime, or an email will work well also. I'm again sharing with you the link for the feedback. This will also be shared in the WhatsApp group.